Peace to the 12. Y'all see the title? The Evil History of Birthday Celebrations. Say that one more time. The Evil History of Birthday Celebrations. All right, the pagan history of celebrations of birthdays, which for those of you that don't know, you Israelites are not supposed to be celebrating birthdays. And in this video, I want to prove that going through multiple books as well as the scriptures. And this lesson is really inspired by a brother I knew that was in the world. He was a worldly person. He wasn't in the truth. He was of the tribe of Issachar. And recently he passed away. He passed away in an accident that happened during a birthday celebration. Now, prior to this, I had already been wanting to do a video on birthdays, but I never got around to it. But I figured that this would be the time to do it. All right, so we're going to get into it. First source of information we're going to go to is found in the Satanic Bible. All right, I say Satanic because of the algorithm. It's weird with certain words. So the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. Right, this is the guy who is the leader of the Satanist church. Right, and he did satanic rituals. He was a satanic witch, and he wrote the Satanic Bible. Right, this is what he had to say about birthdays. I can't remember what page number this was. It might have been like 98 or something. I can't remember. But anyway, he says religious holidays. The highest of all holidays in the Satanic religion is the date of one's own birth. Check that out. The date of one's own birth. Oh, let me see if I can fix this real quick. There we go. Of one's own birth. This is in direct contradiction to the holy of holy days of other religions, which deify a particular God who has been created in an anthropomorphic form in their own image, thereby showing that the ego is not really buried. The Satanist feels, why not really be honest? And if you are going to create a God in your image, why not create that God as yourself? So really, birthdays are rooted in idolatry. I'll explain that in a minute. He says, why not really be honest? And if you're going to create a God in your image, why not create that God as yourself? Every man is a God if he chooses to recognize himself as one. So the Satanist celebrates his own birthday as the most important holiday of the year, right? Just like a lot of people in the world, what do? When it's their birthday, they get off work, they get bottle service, right? They get people in a damn restaurant to sing them the happy birthday song, right? They get mad when somebody doesn't remember that it was their birthday, right? That's all idolatry. And it's dumb anyway, because when you really think about it, oh, today is my day. You know how many people were born on the same day that you were? It's madness. But anyway, so the Satanist celebrates his own birthday as the most important holiday of the year. After all, aren't you happier about the fact that you were born than you are about the birth of someone you have never even met? Or for that matter, aside from religious holidays, why pay higher tribute to the birthday of a president or to a date in history than we do to the day we were brought into the greatest of all worlds? So, the most highest holiday for a Satanist is literally their birthday. All right? Which tells you that it's already got satanic origins. And the Israelites did not celebrate birthdays. And you can read about birthdays in the scriptures. You can read about Pharaoh celebrating it. You can read about, I think it was, Nebuchadnezzar. I mean, I got him in this video, so we'll get to it. But, anyways, continuing on. Yeah, this is idolatry. What is the idolatry? The worship of idols. Fetishism, paganism. All right? Extreme admiration, love, or reverence for something or someone. Yeah, they have an extreme admiration and love and reverence to their birthday, as if it is so special. Right? Anyway. We're going to go to Galatians 5:20. Slack you for that. For the flesh, we're going to verse 20, but for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these. These are the works of the flesh: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry. Like this, the so-called birthday, idolatry, witchcraft, and this is also rooted in witchcraft. We'll get there in a minute. Witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Right? So, idolatry. You must flee from idolatry and all the other things listed. The works of the flesh. Right? Let's get another part of this satanic. He says, despite the fact that some of us may not have been wanted, or at least we're not particularly planned, we're glad, even if no one else is, that we're here. You should give yourself a pat on the back. Yeah, in other words, idolatry. Buy yourself, which is really narcissism. Buy yourself whatever you want. Treat yourself like the king or god that you are, and generally celebrate your birthday with as much pomp and ceremony as possible. After one's own birthday, the two major satanic holidays are Walpurgisnacht and Halloween, or Hallows Eve. And that makes me think of Halloween. We're going to get on Halloween in a minute. But first, we'll touch on this being lovers of themselves. Like you said, pat yourself on your back. Buy yourself whatever you want, which is what people do on their birthdays. Treat yourself like a king or a god. When we go to 2 Timothy 3:2, it reads, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. Narcissists. Patting themselves on the back, treating themselves like a king. Buying them whatever they want. Lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Right? So, lovers of their own selves. And now going back to this, he said what? The two other top satanic holidays are Walpurgisnacht and Halloween, or Hallows Eve. All right, and a lot of you brothers, and I remember an older brother told me this a long time ago. A lot of these brothers, they celebrate these so-called holidays chiefly because of a woman, right? Not always, but a lot of times. Like the reason you got this dumbass costume on is because your woman wanted you to wear a Halloween costume, right? The reason you get things for Valentine's Day is for who? It's for your woman, right? The reason, the reason you go so hard into Christmas, same thing. And all the other holidays, birthday, right? You'd be in a damn argument if you forgot your woman's birthday, right? And this makes me think of 1 Ezra 4:26, which reads, yeah, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. So many men sin for women, and they perish, right? Now let's get another person's book on birthdays. Lou White. Lou White, he wrote a book called Fossilized Customs, right? He was a researcher on Hebrew language and culture, right? So we're going to go to page 29 of his book, Fossilized Customs by Lou White. And this is what he has to say about a cake. He says, the cake was baked for the Queen of Heaven, and it was decorated with the celebrant's name. Yeah, happy, like they do now. Happy birthday, Tom. Got Tom's birthday in big, all caps, on the frosting in the center, right? You can actually, first of all, let's go to Exodus 20:3. You shall have no other gods before me, right? So we're not supposed to worship no damn Queen of Heaven. And the Queen of Heaven is actually mentioned in the Bible, both in Jeremiah 7 as well as Jeremiah 44. Like in Jeremiah 7:18, it says, the children gathered wood and the fathers kindled the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings onto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Right? So our people, the men and the women, we're all dealing with the Queen of Heaven. And they poured out drink offerings onto other gods. Right? It goes to the same account in Jeremiah 44 and 17 through 25. Right? They poured out drink offerings onto her. And they made the cakes. Well, what cake? The birthday cake. Right? The birthday cake. Right? And this from CBS News. It says, what is the Greek origin of birthdays? It says the ancient Greeks believed that each person had a spirit that attended his or her birth and kept watch. That spirit had mystic relation with the god on whose birthday the individual was born, says the book of the lore of birthdays. All right. And then they even had a goddess of marriage and birth, Hera. All right. It's all madness. Right. Then I even asked where the birthday cakes come from, and I really got lied to because it's going to tell me it came from the Romans. It was way before that. All right, but that's just Esau trying to insert himself as the engineer, as the original, like they always do. All right, Esau pretend to be an Egyptian. Esau pretend to be the Israelites. Esau pretend to be a Native American. Esau pretends to be an Aboriginal European. Esau pretends to be an Aboriginal Australian. Right? Esau's even the last samurai. But anyway, birthday cakes have been part of a birthday celebrations in Western Europe. Since the middle of the 19th century, however, the link between cakes and birthday celebrations may date back to the ancient Roman times. In classical Roman culture, cakes were occasionally served at special birthdays and at weddings. All right, so they're trying to link this celebration to Western Europe. It goes way before that. But again, more lies. Right? But I wanted to mention that they also said they had drink offerings and cake offerings. Well, people pop champagne at birthdays too, right? From the 18th, birthday parties through the golden anniversaries or happy milestones are accomplished by bottle fizz, a drink offering, right? Letting the champagne hit the ground before they drink it. Now, and also in the Satanic Bible, he mentioned Walpurgisnacht. Well, Walpurgisnacht is a witch holiday. I believe it starts May 30th. I think it's called May 1st. I know it's called May Day. Let's go to here real quick. Walpurgisnacht is the eve of May Day, on which witches are held to ride to an appointed rendezvous. Walpurgisnacht, this place was San Francisco, the year 1966, the day April 30th. Walpurgisnacht, the highest holy day on the Satanic calendar. All right, you see that? Now, back to fossilized customs. We're going to go to page 29, which reads, witches regard the day of one's birth the most significant event in a person's life. Let me read that again. Witches regard the day of one's birth the most significant event in a person's life. The birthday itself was a time of a great superstition to a pagan. So they were surrounded by their friends and their relatives for protection. See that? And so it's all witchcraft. Witches regard the day of one's birth, that's a birthday, as the best thing of a life. We just read about that, about Satanism. All right? And they were surrounded by friends and relatives. I mean, isn't that what they do in birthdays? Right? Now let's go to Exodus 22 and 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. All right, you must not allow a sorceress to live. All right, we don't deal with witchcraft. Page 29, still fossilized custom. It says, the candles, remember a birthday cake has what? Candles. The candles symbolize the sacred fire, carefully numbered for each annual cycle completed. If the celebrant can blow out all the candles, then a secret wish made to a genie or Juno, if the person is female, will be granted. Right? This is madness. And what is a genie? A spirit with magic powers, especially one that lives in a bottle or a lamp. Leviticus 20 and 6. I will set my face against anyone who turns to mediums and spiritists to prostitute themselves by following them, and I will cut them off from their people. Right? Spiritist definition. A person who claims to speak with or the spirits of the dead. That's a spiritist. Deuteronomy 18:10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. Right? Or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter of familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord Yahawah. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. Thou should be perfect with the Lord Yahawah thy God. Right? So we're not supposed to be dealing with witchcraft, enchantments, observing times, divination, charmers, familiar spirits, wizards, or necromancy. All right? Or divination, which is the practice of seeking knowledge of the future by unknown supernatural means. Right? Now we're going to go to... We're still on page 29 of Fossilized Customs. It says, the birthday ritual of cakes, candles, wishes, and presents serves thanks to the sky luminaries for allowing the birthday celebrant to reach the annual cycles of their birth. All right, to the sky luminaries. That's the signs of heaven. In Jeremiah 10, it tells you to stay away from people that are like that. You go to Jeremiah 10 and verse 1. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord Yahawah speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Right? So we're not supposed to learn the ways of the heathen. We're not supposed to be dismayed at the signs of heaven. We're not supposed to be looking at the sky luminaries. For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. Right? And that's dealing with the so-called Christmas tree, which I've done videos on. Christmas is also pagan. It has nothing to do with the Bible, and you can't even find the word Christmas in the Bible. Now, like I said, birthdays are actually mentioned, and they're always with heathens, excluding one point, which we'll deal with in the book of Job. Now, we're going to go to Genesis chapter 40, verse 20. It says, and it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. So Pharaoh had a feast of his birthday, a birthday celebration. We're not supposed, once again, learn not the way of the heathen. Then you go to Matthew 14 and 6. It says, but when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodotus danced before them and pleased Herod. Right? So, Herod is celebrating the birthday. Herod was an Edomite. Right? Then you can read about it in 2 Maccabees 6 and 7. Where it says, each month when the king's birthday was celebrated, the Jews were compelled by brute force to eat the intestines of sacrificial animals. Then during the festival in honor of the wine god Dionysus, they were required to wear ivy wreaths on their heads and march in procession. And see, this is really dealing with how we became Greeks. Like if you go to the New Testament, it says there's no difference between a Jew and a Greek. That's because the Greeks it's talking about are the Hellenized Israelites, the Hellenized Jews, right? But people get that totally wrong all the time. But anyway, we go to Encyclopedia Americana, 1991. It says the ancient world of Egypt, Greece, Rome, and Persia celebrated the birthdays of gods, kings, and nobles. Right? So once again, the Egyptians, Grecians, Romans, and Persians, they all celebrated birthdays because it's a pagan custom. All right, which disproves that birthday started in ancient Rome. That's a lie, just based on this encyclopedia. Right? Now we're going to go to another guy, Joseph Jacobs. He wrote a book, the Jewish Encyclopedia. We're going to go to page 1054. I believe it's volume 4. Page 1054. It says the celebration of birthdays is unknown in traditional Jewish ritual. Yeah, that's because the Israelites did not celebrate birthdays, right? You go to the World Book Encyclopedia, volume 3, page 416. It says the early Christians did not celebrate Christ's birth because they considered the celebration of anyone's birth to be a pagan custom, right? Then we go to Flavius Josephus, an historian, All right, a Jewish historian from back in the day. This is allegedly what he looks like. I don't think he really looked like that, but anyway. We'll go to book 2, verse 26 of the complete works of Josephus. He says, "Nay, indeed, the law does not permit us to make festivals at the births of our children, and thereby afford occasion of drinking to excess, but it ordains that the very beginning of our education should be immediately directed to sobriety. It also commands us to bring those children up in the learning and to exercise them in laws and make them acquainted with the acts of their predecessors in order to their imitation of them." All right, so it teaches a sobriety lifestyle, and we didn't have festivals for the births of our children. Now, we had a feast when a child was weaned, which is totally different. And I went over that in my Issachar video. But this is a Bishop Hilary of Poitiers from, it doesn't say where he was born, but he died in 367 AD. This is allegedly what he looked like. Anyway, this is the book, The Fathers of the Church. It says, where are we at? This is page 156 of The Fathers of the Church. It says, "Not one from all the saints is found to have celebrated a festive day or a great feast on the day of his birth. No one is found to have had joy on the day of a birth of his son or daughter. Only sinners rejoice over this kind of birthday." Right? Then we can go to Alexander Hislop. All right. In his book, The Two Babylons, we're going to go to chapter 3, page 87, section 1, which reads, "Far and wide in the realms of paganism was this birthday observed. This festival has been commonly believed to have had only an astronomical character, referring simply to the completion of the sun's yearly course and the commencement of a new cycle." So, birthdays are rooted in paganism. All right, we're going to get an account in Job that speaks on birthdays as well. We're going to go to Job chapter 1 and verse 4. Right? We go to Job 1 and 4. I'm going to read King James Version first. It says, "And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them." Now, other versions are saying that his sons held feasts on their birthdays. Right? Which, again, we are not supposed to do. Right? And Job even kind of knew, because in Job 1 and 4 it says, "And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day," just talking about birthdays, "and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them." Then you go to Job 1 and 5, it says, "And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually." So he was saying, it may be that my sons have sinned. When was this? During the days of their birthday feasts. Right? Other versions, he says, when their feasting days completed their cycle. Meaning they did this birthday thing yearly. It was a yearly thing, right? Well, what happened to Job's family? When you read Job 1 and 13, it says, "And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in the eldest brother's house." So they were probably celebrating that same birthday, right? It's already been implied. There you go to Job chapter 1, verse 18. It says, "While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee." Right? So they all died during this celebration. They died on their birthday. "Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down on the ground and worshipped." Right? Because, Job said what? The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. All right? It tells you that in 1 Samuel 2 and 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. Anybody that's alive right now, it's because of God. Anybody that's dead right now, it's because of God. All right? It's because of the Most High Yahawah. All right? In the name of his only begotten son, Yahawashi. Now we go to Job 3. What did Job say about his birthday? This is Job 3 and 1. "After this, opened Job his mouth and cursed his day of birth. And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man child conceived. Let that day be darkness, let not God regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. So he's saying, hey, cursed be a birthday. Cursed be his birthday in particular. All right, Jeremiah said the same thing. You read about that in Jeremiah 20 and 14. Cursed be the day wherein I was born. Let not the day wherein my mother bare me be blessed. That's birthdays. All right, cursed be the man who brought tidings to my father, saying a man child is born unto thee, making him very glad. All right, so-called birth gifts. You go to Anton LaVey. Back to this guy. I just wanted to touch on his before I got out of here. Isn't it interesting that Anton LaVey was really born Howard Stanton Levy, and he was born to a newish family. I say newish because of YouTube, right? Which makes me think, and so this guy born to a newish family, he started the Church of Satan, right? Well, Revelations 2:9, it says, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. And this guy, who comes from a newish background, he quite literally made a synagogue for Satan. He made the church of Satan. All right, but that's it on that, man. No, we're not supposed to be celebrating birthdays, and that's the evil history of birthday celebrations. So with that, I say peace to the 12. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, the Most High Yahawah, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahawashi. I want to say shalom, which means peace to you people listening and learning. Your brothers doing this work, truth, sincerity, and your elders that's been doing this thing before me, man. I'm going to go ahead and get up on out of here. I'm gone. Peace. Shalom.